All right.
This is... I might have to edit the beginning of this one. Okay, so, this is Still Look Pretty.
All right.
And I'm introducing, this is Arron. She is my daughter's stepmother and is amazing and has been a fantastic part of my daughter's lives and has welcomed them with open arms and treats them as her own. And I want to honor her by making her my first interview. I am extremely happy to have her in my daughter's lives, and because she is a strong, good, caring woman that has involved them in not just being a parent, but in her culture, and that is huge. That's really cool, actually, because that's not always the case. A lot of times people separate things out and will separate with like stepchildren and things. I've run into or I've seen people separating stepchildren out from their own children and seeing it as something different. And she doesn't do that. She's amazing and she's great to my to my girls. And I'm trying to adjust this so it like means everything. And so there we go. That's the beginning of today's Sit Still Look Pretty, where we get to see a lot of my really bad feelings. There we go. Let's try that. Oh shit! Okay, there we go. Okay. So there we go. That's the beginning, and like I said, we have no idea what we're doing. So Arron, today's interview. So as we're trying to inspire women and stuff, and I want you to talk about you and your life and how, like, maybe even people that have inspired you and things like that, and in your life.
All right. Well, I want to say thank you to you, Danny. I never knew that I was that much of an influence on you, and it's actually really awesome to hear you say that. I love our kids so much, and I'm glad that you think of that about me, and I just thank you for everything, because without you, I don't think I wouldn't be able to have Lily and Alyssa in my life, and I couldn't imagine our family without them, and our Josie and Alora without their sisters. So thank you. Thank you for all of it. And I guess a little about me. So I've been taught by my mother, because I am half Navajo and half Ho-Chunk Winnebago. So I guess in case there's anybody out there, I'm going to introduce myself in Navajo at first. So, She'eya, Erin Snake and Shia, Lokat the Nan Shlan, Ado Patatni Edash Che, Ado Ho-Chunk Winnebago Bashashin, Dashinale. So I am born for Darren and Lena Snake, and I was claimed by my father's people, the Snake Clan people of the Ho-Chunk Nation. And originally I come from, or I guess I was born on Fort Polk Army Base in Louisiana, and I'm a huge Army brat. And I moved around a lot in my life, and I have seen in my culture, I guess I should say, like, when you have a split family such as ours, it is, it's very good to try and take in, if your partner had children, then you want to take in that child, because you never know how that's going to affect their life when they grow up, and you want good things for your family. And so to keep all of that goodness and beauty in your life, I really believe that. And so that's why I try to always open my heart to everybody, and practice that with our girls, because I really do want the best for them. And being Navajo, a lot of the women that have influenced me are my aunties, my grandmothers, my mom, and they were all very strong women.
And you come from a very, you're very close with your extended family and things like that. That's kind of a big thing.
I try to be, and I try to really practice the tradition that my grandmother and my aunties and all my elders try and teach us. And to be Navajo or Dene, your clan is carried on through the women's side. So hopefully one day, I can have Josie and Alora try and carry on that tradition of them being Lokot women, Reed clan women. And growing up, I was always told, you have a certain standard that you need to try and strive for to bring honor to our name and keep the honor of our clan, and always try to live in grace and beauty. So I was brought up with that kind of teaching, and I really wanted to try and do that, not just for my own sake, but for seeing the way that my grandmother has lived in her life, and seeing the way that she raised my aunties and my mom. It's kind of well, why not? because it was something very, very special to me. So and I wanted to include Lily and Alyssa in that, because to me, there was no bad in it, and if I could extend that to all of our children, then that just means that I'm making more stronger women, and that they can grow up knowing exactly who they are, what they need to do when they come into situations where they have to fend for themselves, or they have to try and strive to get past whatever obstacles they hit. So, and that they know that they have the strength to do all of that.
It's not real magnet.
No, it is a real magnet. It's not a very strong magnet. Go over to the side, Kitty. One of my daughter's sisters, Miss Josie. And so this is Josie, and then Alora's running around somewhere as well. So.
She's a brain.
Yep, she's
We're
fine.
both snuggling the cat.
Do you want to say hi?
Who?
It's my blog.
Do you want to say hi to the vlog?
To the people that watch it.
To the vlog.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
So,
anyways. So that's what. Oh, Bray, no screaming, please.
So as I guess now in my life, I guess my overall goal is to just help them into that, preparing for that phase of their life, and preparing for whatever may come that I will not be able to be there for physically if they're wherever they may be, or you might not be able to be there.
Mm-hmm. If they're prepared for the future, period.
Yeah, exactly. And that was just like one thing that my grandmother and my mother and my elders would always try and talk to us about was just being ready, like being ready for anything. If something happens, then you know exactly what to do, and if you don't know what to do, then you know the steps that you should take in order to find out what you should be able to do. And so, on that note, I'd like to say thank you to my mom. Thank you to my mom. Thank you to my grandmother. Thank you to all my strong women relatives who have brought me this far in my life, because without them, I don't think I would have been able to overcome some of the obstacles that I've faced in my life. And it has been a real challenge, and I've definitely learned a lot from what I've had to go through when I was younger. Even the things that I've gone through in the military and in the occupation that I'm in now. So
what do you do now?
So now I am a technical electrician, working over at Solutions, and we work with big name companies.
There's a monkey in the back.
Yeah, I know.
Girls, can you stop the screeching, please? So you work with big companies with the. So I'm not an electrician in the slightest, and I don't understand any of this. So she's on a whole other level than me in this kind of thing.
Well, so I can't really go too much into it, but I guess what I can say is we build a lot of electrical components.
Okay, kind of help make
to help like with like aerospace technology and certain defense technology.
Okay, kind of make it so that world goes round.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Cool. And as a stepmom, right? That's not an easy thing to step into.
No.
When we first met, I wasn't exactly nice. I believe the first thing I said to you was, because you wanted to shake my hand.
Yeah.
And the first thing I said was, if I touch you, I will hit you. Exactly what I said. And so I was not friendly at first. I was actually quite mean. And then,
which I feel like you had every right to be, though.
Aubrey L., if you scream again, you're going to go play outside. Anyway. Oh my goodness gracious. But, given what the situation was at the time, and things which we don't need to go into by any means, but we had both of us were being given different stories at the time, which it made it difficult for us to get to know each other on any kind of level. Yeah. And then once that all kind of came to light, it really helped in that I couldn't blame you for any of the stuff that happened on my side or all toward me, and so on and so forth. So that all, that changed how I was going to deal with everything. But also, without all that stuff aside, something.
Go play.
Okay, go play.
No,
Stop.
Josie.
All those kind of struggles aside, one of the things I had to decide to do was being civil, because any divorce there's always a lot of hurt that happens with a divorce, and so people get nasty toward each other, and it's immensely important for the kids, if nothing else, that you are able to maintain some level of civility with your ex, and not badmouth them to the kids, things like that. Like, that stuff is so important. And I really had to try really hard, because I was really hurt when Jim and stuff, when we separated and all this stuff happened. I had to really work at being civil, and I failed at first, hardcore. And but once we got past the crap, and I was able to heal, we were able to start being friends. And once you guys moved out here and stuff, and I'm so glad that we were able to be more than civil. And so, but like on your side, like I can sit and talk about all the stuff that I dealt with as, you know, the mom who's, you know, my family's changed entirely, and so I mean, and I think my side gets talked about a lot already.
Oh, okay.
If that makes sense, like a lot of people, like, we always seem to be the loud ones, but the step parents kind of end up being the unsung heroes.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I had an amazing stepdad, and so I knew it was important for my daughters to have a good relationship with you. So I never wanted to. Well, there's the ceiling.
There you go.
All right. Let's see if we can refix that. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so as the stepmom, though, on your side, what were some of the struggles that you dealt with in becoming a stepmom, and, you know, starting to help take care of kids that weren't yours and that were older already, and things like that, and like bonding with them, and because that was important. You definitely did a good job with that. So. Some of the struggles and the good parts too that you ran into with that.
Okay, so I guess the very first thing, before anything was actually concrete, I actually had to take a moment, several days actually, that almost turned into a couple of weeks here of what I wanted to do, because one, I felt like immense regret. Like, after I figured the picture out, I was very regretful for first of all, hurting this family that I didn't know, like, their family structure. I didn't know how close they were. I didn't know, you know, the specifics, but what I did know is that
thank you. We're zipping up a jacket real quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. Mom moments. Maybe.
hold on here. Okay, there we go.
All right, girl.
So, but I guess getting back to what I did know, though, is that it was a family. There were children involved. People were hurt, and it was something that I never intended to do, and I've never ever wanted to do. I've never thought of myself as being that person who would come into and split apart a family, and it took a lot on me, like, emotionally, and and I'm pretty sure, like, if I had dived deeper, probably a little bit physically. And it took me a while to think, well, if I walk away now, would that family be able to mend? If I walk away, like, from what I know, if I do dive into this, then I definitely need to dive into it with a whole heart. And that's one of the things I told myself, is that if I were to accept what I've done and accept this man who is coming before me with everything, then I would have to accept him as a whole, and him as a whole is not only him, but his children. So I thought, can I do that? Like, can I?
It's a lot to take on.
Yeah, exactly. Because can I love these children, and can I try and fix, kind of like, can I give back what I've taken from them? Because it was a lot. Like, I've taken pretty much their mom's position. I've I've tried to over pretty much just throw you out of the picture and step right into your shoes, and it was as like an imposter. And I thought, like, how horrible of a person like would do this.
When this started, you weren't aware of a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And a lot of you actually told a very different story.
Yeah. So I mean,
just so we know, she wasn't being a vindictive bitch.
and I wasn't trying to be. It is just, but I thought, if I can do this, then I want to do it a way where I could try and make things better. So when I did decide, yes, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do it all the way, I decided then and there that even though our children, I didn't give birth to them, and that you're here in their lives, I thought, well, the best thing to do would be to love them as much as I can, which was really hard at first because I've never been a mom. I didn't know exactly what to do, and I mean, the most I've ever experienced was being an older sister. So I think starting off, my footing was very, very off, and I think the very first couple, I guess, interactions was just not the way I wanted it to go.
Well, and that in itself, because it's got to be a scary thing, because, like, we didn't start off well, so you never knew. When you walked into this, you didn't know if our relationship was going to be toxic forever. Like, we could have ended up in a really bad relationship through the whole thing. The kids, depending on how I handled things, which you didn't know how I was going to handle things with them, could have made things very difficult.
Yeah, exactly. And so, on that note, also, thinking about you, I actually thought about you a lot about this. And I thought, well, it's very unfair of me to try and lash at you anyway, because one, I've again taken from you, and without you, my family wouldn't be what it is, and you play a huge part in that. And I thought, well, I need to make us work, and if we're going to be a good family, and if our children are going to succeed, and if they're going to feel the love and the affection that they need to grow, then I need to make us try and grow as well. So I thought, well, I will just lay low. And I will constantly try and work hard to try and be the best that I can be, not only for them, but partly for you, because, again, like, you are a huge part of this, and I don't know how any of this would come to life without you. So, yeah, I've never told you that. But I pondered on that a lot within our first couple years, and so now you know.
Thank you.
Now you know.
And this whole it's interesting because you run into all the different struggles, and there's a lot of struggles with just raising children in general, and then raising kids in a broken home. And I wouldn't even say it's at one point it was broken, and then but things that are broken are fixable. And once our family healed, it was better. And there were things that I ran into with Jim that without you, I don't think we would have gotten through as far as making this family functionable. They're just in how he was handling things at first. And again, I don't want to have a bash session by any means, but like there were struggles. And you continually made sure, like with certain things, like, no, we're not going to do that this way. We're going to make sure that you are active and that you are a part of, we are going to bring the kids out here. We are going to make sure, and you were very supportive of and not just supportive, but like, it's I don't even know the word. Like, really making sure that he continued to have a relationship, and that relationship with his children was strong. And because he's very, my ex-husband is very introverted, and he isn't a very open person. So us being louder and more straightforward, he kind of has a hard time with that sometimes. And your ability to be honest and with him while still being soft, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been just like, this is the way it is. And I don't know, he listens to you. And it has been instrumental in his relationship with his children and building that relationship with his children, because he's not so open naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And that I am eternally grateful for, because a father's role, especially with raising little girls, is such a huge thing. And we can be strong women all we want, and we can teach our girls how to be strong and independent and all that kind of stuff, but without that father figure that makes them feel loved, it's going to affect their future relationships.
Yep.
And so just your behind the scenes work with that and has been huge in helping these girls heal and get through their parts and everything. And again, how you, even after your girls came, you didn't treat my girls any different. You were still open and loving and fought for them on so many levels. And
yeah,
that's huge. I think, I have to say, as far as like divorces and stuff go, and rebuilding families, it's because that's what this is at this point. It was once broken, and now it's rebuilt, and it's different and stronger, and it's good now.
Yeah.
And because we were able to find a way to be a team, and I know not everybody out there can do that, but if you can, it really makes a huge difference.
I think it does.
Yeah.
And I think and that was one of the most important things to me when I was thinking about becoming part of this family, was I need to make sure that everyone comes out okay in the end. Like, everyone needs to be where they want to go and can be successful. Because I couldn't imagine just trying to take Jim and push everybody, and just pushing everybody else away. It was, to me, was so unfair. And like you said about father figures, is that I know how much of an impact my father made on me during my life, and to take that away, I never wanted to do at all. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think we've done well.
Okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I've been on the other side of the stepmom thing. I don't get along with my husband's ex, despite trying. And it's a disappointing thing. And that I can't seem to make that work when we've made this work so well. And I mean, there's personality things, but even in that situation, and I'm kind of derailing a little bit here, just talking about step parenting and stuff like that. Even in the situation where I do not get along with my husband's ex, I still am careful to watch my tongue, especially around her daughter, around my daughters, because I have no desire to create a rift between their stepsister and them, and I don't. And just, even if I were to sit and badmouth her or have issues with her to my husband all the time, that's going to affect his ability to work with her in raising their daughters. Or daughter, they have one. And so that ability to put yourself aside is huge. Or it's not huge, it's important. And because we forget, we get so wrapped up in our own crap,
Mm-hmm.
that we forget that we're not affecting just us. We're affecting these little children that are just along for the ride. And we can either make them or destroy them. And it's, when you can end up in a situation where you get two people that can respect each other and care about each other, and you can make that work, and that's the best scenario, I would say.
Yeah.
But even if you can't make that work, trying to be civil, and at least in front of, as far as the kids go, I mean, it's very important.
Yep.
So that's I guess my thought on all the stuff,
Yeah.
parenting stuff. But yeah, so
Yeah.
there's a little bit about my Arron, and we'll probably she'll be in other things at different points in my blog because she does some amazing things. Like even my middle child came of age, and Arron took the time to do a blessing ceremony.
Yeah.
And
Pretty much try to, I mean, because it's a really sacred time when a young girl becomes a woman, and I wanted her to try and get a little bit of that blessing so she can try and be a strong, enter it in a strong first jump into that.
And it was, I don't know if you've noticed, but I cried a little bit. Because just that she would take the time for my daughter, who isn't of your womb, I'm Irish and Polish and very, we're very Caucasian. And that you have welcomed my children into your culture, and they're not just like these kids you took in. You have brought them in as your own, and I don't even know how much I appreciate that. And it was just, anyway, it was a really beautiful moment and beautiful thing to see that, and to see someone
Danny, are these
bring in
yours?
someone so lovingly.
Or I found them.
Oh, yeah, awesome.
They were in that. We were on the trampoline. We were getting hurt by one of the dogs.
Oh,
The white one.
the white
And they're getting in a fight.
The dogs are? Okay.
Yeah, the white is getting in a
Oh, it
fight.
looks like they were probably just wrestling a bit. Okay, thank you, sweetie. But yeah, so I love you, Arron.
I love you too,
Oh,
Daddy. And I love our babies.
Yeah, so I think we're doing a good job. That's gonna be it for today. I'm just still look pretty. Thank you for your time. Becky. Oh my God!